Ask yourself a hard question. If you stopped working this year, how many years could your savings really cover? For millions of Americans, the answer is terrifying. Picture this. You hit your early or mid-60s. You are tired, your back hurts, and work drains you faster than it used to. You sit at the kitchen table with a laptop, a stack of statements, and a cheap calculator. You add up your 401k, your savings account, maybe a small IRA. Then you compare that number to your rent or mortgage, food, insurance, and medicines. It hits you in one clear sentence. If you stop working, the money runs out long before you do. If you have ever done that late-night math, tell us in the comments with a simple yes, so others know they are not alone. Here is the bigger picture behind that feeling. Surveys now show that many Americans believe the country faces a retirement crisis. A lot of people say they are not confident they will have financial security when they stop working. Higher prices over the last few years made that fear even sharper. The numbers back up that feeling. The typical person in their late 50s or early 60s has retirement savings in the low six figures, not the seven figures experts talk about. At the same time, many say they think they need around $1 million or more to feel safe, but expect to end up with half that or less. That gap is where retirement dreams crack. So why are retirement dreams breaking for so many people? First, people are living longer while the cost of everything keeps rising. More years with your kids and grandkids sounds great. But longer life in a high-cost country means more years of rent or property tax, more years of food, and many more years of healthcare. A retired couple today can easily spend well into six figures on healthcare alone across retirement. That does not include long-term care, dental work, or help at home. That is just staying insured, seeing doctors, and filling prescriptions. Now put that next to those savings numbers. If the typical person has only a little more than that set aside, and a big chunk may go to healthcare over time, what is left for housing, food, and basic life? No wonder so many people in their 50s and 60s feel like they are racing a clock they did not set. Second, the promise of Social Security feels shakier than it used to. People hear constant talk about trust funds running low, benefit cuts, and political fights. Even if checks keep coming, the message lands. You cannot count on Social Security alone. It might cover part of the bill, but not enough to carry a full modern life. Here is a question for you. If your Social Security check was suddenly cut by 20%, what bill would you stop paying first? Rent, medicine, food, something else? Type one word in the comments. Your answer makes this more real for everyone watching. Third, the job market has changed in a quiet but brutal way. In the past, many workers had pensions that paid a set amount for life. That took pressure off personal savings. Now pensions are rare outside government and a few older companies. Most workers have 401k style plans, if they have any plan at all. If the market hits them at the wrong time, or they had years when they could not contribute much, they carry that damage into retirement. At the same time, the cost side of life has climbed faster than many paychecks. Housing, food, education, and healthcare all moved up. So even people who worked for decades may end up with thinner savings than they expected. That is how you get this strange picture. People aiming for more than $1 million in savings, but expecting to land far below that. So what does all this look like in daily life? Look around any American town and you will see the answer. Seniors bagging groceries, standing at retail counters, stocking shelves, driving ride-share, cleaning offices late at night. For some, work is a choice. They like staying active. But for many, work at 70 or 75 is not extra income, it is survival. If you are already retired, tell us in the comments. Are you working part-time right now to cover bills or just for social reasons? Just type bills or choice. Your answer will paint a clearer picture for everyone watching. Here is where the emotional break happens. Many people grew up with a simple story. You work hard, you save what you can, you hit your mid-60s, and then you get to rest. You travel a little, spoil the grandkids, and finally live on your own schedule. Now, a huge number of people are facing a very different script. They hit their 60s and realize they still have a car loan, a mortgage or rent, maybe some old debt, and health issues that cost real money. Their savings look small next to those bills, so they keep working. Not because they want another title, but because they are scared of what happens if they stop. Many midlife surveys tell the same story. Large groups of people say they simply cannot afford to retire because they have not saved enough. Many also worry that Social Security will pay less than they expect. When that is how you feel, retirement is no longer a gentle glide. It becomes a trap you are trying not to fall into. Think about this for your own life. If you had to cover 20 or 30 years without a paycheck, what is your number? How much would you really need to feel calm? Do you know it, or are you avoiding it because it feels too big? Now, this channel is not here to give you sugar-coated comfort. The situation is serious, but you are not powerless either. You cannot fix Social Security on your own. You cannot change national health care costs by yourself. You can, however, stop drifting. Here are a few simple mindset shifts that matter. First, stop thinking of retirement as a single magic age and start thinking of it as a series of transitions. Maybe you cannot jump from full-time work to complete rest, but you might be able to move from a high-stress job to a lower-paid but calmer one, or from full-time to part-time over a few years. That can still protect your savings and give you some breathing room. Second, be brutally honest about your numbers, not in your head, on paper. How much have you saved? How much can you add each month? What are your fixed costs? At what age would those costs fall because of a paid-off mortgage or a move to a cheaper area? You might not like the answers, but knowing them is better than running blind. Third, if you are younger, use what you see in older relatives as a warning, not a curse. If your parents are struggling, let that anger push you into action, not despair. Even small increases in savings when you are younger can grow more than you think over 20 or 30 years. If this whole topic makes your stomach tight, you are not weak. You are seeing clearly what many people try to ignore until it is too late. I want you to answer one more question in the comments. Do you think you will fully stop working one day, or do you expect to work in some way until you cannot? Type full stop or work forever. There is no shame in either answer. It will simply show how people your age are really thinking about this. Here is the real headline nobody puts on TV. Retirement in America did not fail because people suddenly got lazy. It failed because the costs of life, health, and housing rose faster than savings and safety nets. It failed because risk moved from companies and the state onto individual workers. Then those same workers got blamed when the math did not work. If you want more clear talk like this, do 3 things. This video reaches more people who feel alone with their fear. Share it with a friend or family member who keeps saying, "I will never be able to retire." And subscribe if you want a channel that speaks to the people who see the cracks in the system and are tired of being told everything is fine. This space is for workers who know they cannot afford comforting lies, who still want to fight for a better future, and who refuse to sleepwalk into a retirement cliff with their eyes closed.